But up, ba. Here we go. Episode 49. Everything Teams Phone Live. Sorry for the couple of minute delay today, everyone. It's you know, uh, this whole computer business is a bit weird. Who can I find an IT guy anywhere? I'm not quite sure, but anyway, welcome everybody to episode 49.
I don't know any names, Rick. I can't help
you. No one at all in the space. Okay. Hey everyone, we've got a couple of special guests joining us today, so I'm pretty excited, Brandon. We decided to kick off a discussion about contact centers. So we decided who are the folks we know in the contact center that we really like and know that they know exactly what they're talking about. And no one else came to mind straight away except for Ollie from Luware. So Ollie, thanks for hanging with us on a Friday night.
Yeah, I don't have any friends clearly, so it's 8 o'clock here. So nothing better to do in London on a January than join you guys. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
It's probably rainy and cold outside, Ollie, so nowhere to go walk in the streets. But typically, friends that join from across the pond there have a drink with them. So I'm not quite sure if you've got something to keep you going. Maybe a cup of tea or something. No.
Got some water. I did try dry January. It lasted maybe 11 days, which I think is pretty good effort.
That's not bad. 11 days.
All you got to do is hold up your water glass if it's clear and be like, do you really know whether it's water or not? I mean,
who knows, right?
There's a lot of clear.
Look at that. Are we having a good January or what? That's amazing. Look at that. That's hilarious. Very well behaved. So we kicked off a call last week and we were chatting with Tom Arbuthnot and we started to talk about contact center solutions. We started to talk about Microsoft and the contact center space. We started to talk about the difference between the connected ecosystem or the connected contact center solutions and the so we started to talk about those things. No, it's delayed a little bit there. It's my video. Better?
Yeah,
now.
We had you cutting all the way out, Rick. So talking about solutions.
Good. Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Yep. So, Ollie, let's talk about Microsoft from a contact center perspective. And if I'm delayed, Brandon, you can pick up, Brandon, while my internet catches up.
You bet. I think we got that. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting space. There's been a lot of change, and it's a pretty fast rate of change, I'd say, over the last few years. I think broadly speaking, we're still looking at 2 to 3 types of integration models with teams. So to recap those quickly, we've got the connected solutions. So those are the solutions where all the intelligence and is driven by a third-party contact center solution. That might be on-premise, that might be cloud-based. So those of you that might know solutions like 8x8 or RingCentral, NICE, Genesys, where they're established contact center vendors, and they've made an integration to Teams. And essentially what they're doing there is passing the call to Teams for the final leg, but the call routing is driven by that third-party contact center solution. So that's your connected solution. I'd say that's where the majority of vendors have decided to make their Teams integration, simply because that's keeping the call within their third-party ecosystem, and it's also probably the quickest way to achieve an integration.
And Ollie, just to add on, one of my comments to Tom last week on that integration model is it's also flows that, takes that same flow as the traditional path for those integrations for offloading calls to other systems, whether it's a BPO or something else that needs to connect that audio path. So these, and it's nothing against these vendors, it's just how they've designed their platforms. And so they're just kind of taking, I think, that same approach with Microsoft to say, yeah, let's, we already do this today with BPOs, so let's go do the same thing with Microsoft.
Yeah, and I mean, for those vendors, I think it makes sense. Yes, it's a easy route, but it also means that the customer stays with that vendor in that ecosystem rather than kind of bringing everything into Teams. Which for certain use cases and for certain customer strategies, that that might totally be the right way to go. So it's not like that's the right way or the wrong way of doing it. I think it suits some customers, but not others. Like most things in technology, right? There's not a one size fits all for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the big thing as a telco provider. We look at that and we go, and I put the link in there for the Microsoft Learn sort of article that talks about the connect, the extend, the power, that there's not much there from a power perspective, but the two different models. I put a link in there so people can see what the link looks like. But the big deal is call flow, right? I mean, the call flow is like, if you've got a call flow from the PSTN to your Operator Connect provider into Teams, and you're using Aluware as an example, or you're using anyone that's in the extend model, that call flow is straight into Teams. The manipulation happens right into Teams. Versus the Connect model, you're going to PSTN to that particular provider and then into Microsoft Teams just via basically a SIP trunk, essentially, right? Just public internet SIP trunk.
Yeah, exactly that. I've got a nice little diagram which actually kind of shows this. So let me just share the screen here.
Oh, perfect.
So if we look at this model here, this is the Connect model. So essentially, we've got the PSTN coming straight into that third-party contact center. So they would have their own SBCs. And then you would set up additional SIP trunking, direct routing into Teams. So the PSTN goes first into the third-party provider, then into Teams. And then once it gets into Teams, it actually has to go back out again. So it trombones that call back out again, in most cases, to the third-party provider. That's when it gets its kind of call routing intelligence. And then finally, it's routed back into Teams to the Teams agent. So you can see there's a bit of tromboning. I think if this is all local, then that's not going to make any difference, right? That's going to be like milliseconds. But if you're then trying to do that internationally, then obviously that takes a bit longer, that tromboning back and forward. So that versus the extend model where, as you said, Rick, whatever PSTN route you take, whether it's Operator Connect, calling plans even, that goes straight into Teams. There's no kind of interference here on the contact center side. And then all that routing happens in Teams. So yeah, those are the kind of main differences between those two models.
Yeah, that's super important. And your diagrams really show it well. And like I said, we put the link in the chat there as well, so people can see the difference. They can go the Connect model and the Extend model. There's a lot of people in the Connect model, Ollie. Is that because it's much easier? Obviously, it's a different sort of entirely different sort of approach to contact centers. So there seems to be quite a lot of Connect models, and again, that's the kind of the typical carriers in there. The Extend model. Now, I get that it's in Microsoft Teams. What does that really mean? I get that it's in the tenant and the intelligence is being routed in there, but what else does that mean? What other benefits are there when you're working on an Extend model platform versus the Connect model platform?
Yeah, it means you have access to a wider range of the Teams functionality, and that once that call is delivered to an agent, it's going to behave much more like a regular Teams call. So transferring calls, for example, we then can bring in apps like the attendant console and use the Active Directory, use the Teams presence there. So I think it means from a user experience, because obviously architecturally, there's that argument or that reasoning, but let's be honest, contact center supervisors and users and managers, they don't really give a stuff how it's delivered to the agent, right? They just want that agent experience to be as seamless as possible.
Right. As exactly. And that's where it really matters, is what does the experience look like? And that's, if you can deliver a native experience where it feels like a Teams call, acts like a Teams call, transfers like a Teams call, all those components, it makes it a lot, it's just a whole lot cleaner solution, right? In the end, you're saving, you're saving either seconds and or minutes off of calls, and that drives at the end of the day productivity for an organization and ultimately dollars. So, okay, so this is the Teams integration model, the connect, the extend, and the power that you're showing.
Yeah, I mean, power's an interesting one, and I think the conversation around power is really going to ramp up over the next year or so. So, at the moment, there's no certification path from Microsoft for power. Okay, so you can only be certified by Microsoft via Extend or Connect at the moment. But we are hearing and we are hoping that at some point this year, that we're going to get a power certification. So that's something we're going to look at. And the way to describe power, the way I like to describe it is, if you think about the core components of Teams, right? You've got calling, you've got video meetings, and you've got messaging and file sharing, probably the four kind of pillars of Teams. So what power will allow you to do is essentially use those different elements of Teams as like a toolkit, right? So you're not using the Teams calling like we are in the Extend, where it's all done by Microsoft. What we're doing in Power is saying, okay, I like the messaging part of Teams. Okay, I'm going to use the Azure Communication Services API there to build a chat solution or a web chat solution, for example. Or I like the calling part of Teams, so I'm going to use that in my contact center application. But you're taking a component of that and essentially using the API of that to build it into your own solution. So it's really using the Teams SDK or the different components of Teams, and then creating your own solution based on that. And I think what that will give us, it will give us access to different modalities like chat, like web video, like web voice, things like that. So social media, which we've already got in Nimbus, and we're already using part of this in our Interact solution. But from a calling perspective, it will allow us to actually have a bit more control over that. With Extend, we're routing Teams calls, right? We're not actually touching that Teams call at all. But with Power, we'll be able to keep track of it end to end, and we'll be able to have a lot more control over that full voice path. So it's quite exciting. It's a little bit abstract, as you'd maybe expect from something that isn't officially certified yet, but there's some cool potential there.
But let's make sure maybe with an example, our listeners understand maybe what that means. So I'm going to pitch an example to you, Ollie, and I'm going to see if I'm even tracking what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah.
So with the power model, I'm guessing, the logic there is, okay, I want to bring a call into the contact center. In this case, maybe it's Luware via power model. Mm-hmm. You guys are going to take control of that call path essentially via the Microsoft SDK. I assume that's through ACS, some kind of Azure service.
Yep.
But then let's say I need to deliver it into Teams for an agent, but then that, for whatever reason, part of the business flow logic is maybe I need to pull that call back and I need to route it somewhere else. That opens up a world of possibilities then on, okay, agent, instead of you now having to do a cold or warm or whatever transfer because it's a Teams native call that's pinned, and now you've got to do the call control as the agent. Now you can build your platform to say, oh, business logic, we went up and we looked in the CRM or something, and now we need, based on the flow, we need to pull this call back and deliver it out to third-party entity or another person internally. Is that kind of what we're getting at with that model?
Yeah, definitely. I think also once, if you're thinking about the full call flow, once in Extend, and this is a limitation, we're happy to be transparent about that, is if you take a call when you're Extend and you transfer it to a colleague in Teams, right, we lose that. That's a Teams to Teams call at that point. But if we're using that as a power call, or if that's delivered by the power integration, then we'll have full control of that, full visibility from a reporting perspective. We'll have more control of what happens with that call. So those are the kind of examples.
And then I assume it opens up even a greater realm. Last week we were talking about where we think AI is going to start to fit in and impact the contact center. And I suppose part of this Power SDK, whatever we're calling that platform integration, I suppose that makes the realm of possibility even more wide open than these other solutions where you're trying to use Graph API or some tromboning of data paths to get your integration to work. Now you can bring in maybe that OpenAI or Copilot to layer into your product as a vendor to say, all right, customer, we're going to actually bring you AI that's native to Microsoft, or maybe it's third party, whatever. I suppose that's just going to be, game changing as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whether Microsoft will say this or not, I'm happy to say it, but I think the graph now is served a great purpose. I mean, it's done great things for vendors like us, but the Graph API now certainly is going to be maintained. But I think that's not really where the new features are coming. I don't think that's where the investment are coming. I think where the investment is coming is in Azure Communication Services, which is kind of underpinning that power model. And as you say, Brandon, that's where with ACS we can start tying into voice bots, Azure voice bots, OpenAI, external voice bots as well, because ACS just gives you that possibility.
Ollie, this is super exciting. Can we do this? I'd love to show, because we get questions all the time about contact center solutions, right? Customers come to us, our selling partners come to us, our selling team comes to us, and they ask us a lot about, what does it look like? How does it work? And obviously we're covering some of the functional sort of, not functional, but some of the sort of architectural differences in the contact center solutions out there. I'd love to dive into, what does it look like? How does it function? What are some common features and services in the contact center solution that maybe you don't find in Microsoft Teams today? Now, Microsoft Teams has pretty advanced call queues. They've got, auto attendance, in the contact center solution, and their own sort of, in their normal phone solution. We don't know if they're building additional functionality and features to kind of, there's like a supervisor role. We haven't seen those things in Microsoft Teams natively, like you have seen, like let's say in the Zoom, for example, right? And so Microsoft has the connect and extend models right now for partners to go and add features like that. So what kind of features do you see customers really needing that aren't part of Microsoft Teams, that, this is, if you need something like this, you're going to move into a third-party contact center like Glueware?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, the things that will drive you down there is like added visibility on reporting and live visibility. And I think a lot of that, especially from Glueware, has been, the conversation's been around cooling. I think what would be really cool to show today is maybe some of those other modalities. So kind of continuing on the conversation on that power route, and as you asked there, Rick, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that look like? If we think about one of those core components of Teams, which is chat rather than voice, what we've done with this SDK already is actually integrate Teams into a web chat solution. So we can take a quick look at that. So
love it. Let's go.
On the left-hand side of my screen, I've just got my native Teams client here. Okay, so I've got my chat. So this is just, I'm not in Nimbus here, I'm just in Teams. On the right-hand side of my screen, I'm going to bring up a website view. Okay, so this is just a dummy website. This can be your customer website. Okay, this could be your main page, this could be a customer service page, wherever you want to put this. We've built a widget here, which looks like a typical kind of web chat widget. You can use our widget, or you can kind of design your own, and we can take some standard information here. So I can enter my email, I can enter my name, I can start with an initial message here. So I'll say, hi, LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we can also accept a privacy policy. So I'm going to start this interaction here. And what this is going to do is going to trigger a flow. So just like a call flow, we can start automated messages here. So I can chat back and forward. So I'd say, I'd like to speak to an agent. Okay. And then you'll notice in Teams here, as the agent, I've been delivered a card natively in my Teams chat, which is just like a call that I can accept or decline. So I can accept or decline this. And then as soon as I accept it, that chat is now popped out in my Teams chat. Okay. So you can see I'm connected. And now I can chat seamlessly back and forward. Hi, how can I help?
I like Ollie. I got to tell you, this is fantastic. And I have been, chat is pretty near and dear to my heart. Brandon smiling because he knows it really is. This is exactly what the industry needs and what customers of Microsoft Teams need, right? The ability to have a native chat, native sort of experience, and yet bring calls. This is where my personal belief is that I feel like chat and service starts at the customer's website, because if I interact with a company, I'm Googling the company, finding their website, and I'm engaging in a chat. I'm engaging it. So it starts at the website. So this is fantastic. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm super excited about this already.
No, please do. Yeah, and I mean, as we know, a lot of the younger generation now love to chat rather than make a voice call. And we could have built a chat interface within our contact center client. But look, chat is so core in Teams, right? It's everybody's used to using Teams chat. So for us, it was just a no-brainer. If we can put the web chat into the Teams chat, then why wouldn't we? And this opens up so many other use cases. Obviously, I can be full-time kind of responding to web chats here. But if you've got a support desk, or let's say the volume of chat isn't that high, and you wanted to enable it on the weekend, right? You could have this chat and you could respond to this in your Teams mobile app. You wouldn't need to go into Nimbus. This would just pop up as a notification in your Teams mobile app to say somebody's trying to get in touch. I can respond to that. I don't have to be at my desk to do that.
Let's talk about, I'm going to put you on the spot, and this is maybe just because, again, I'm a super huge fan of chat from the website here. Let me ask you about the widget itself. Like, are there any special capabilities or functionality that I could then manipulate in the widget itself?
Yeah, so we offer the widget kind of out of the box, or if you've got a web development team, you can use our SDK, which is basically a set of APIs. Then you can build your own information boxes. So you can take different information, and something that's really cool about the information we can take. You notice here it said, "Hi, Ollie." Okay, so that's subtle, but that was essentially taking the name that I inputted as a parameter, right? So that's a really simple use case, just greeting that person by name. But we can take that so much further. So let's say, for example, at some point here, we wanted to take an account number or a order number. I wanted to use the chat here to track or to understand where my order is and when it's going to be delivered. We can take the parameter here, we can look that up against the CRM system, and then we can actually deliver back into the chat information that we're getting from an external system. So just like a call flow where we can kind of read back a parameter in the call flow, we can do that in the chat, right? So we can actually make this much more intelligent and much more automated. So you can have a lot of automated messages here where you're getting information from a CRM system and then giving that information back to the customer here before even speaking to an agent. And that's all managed in our workflows.
So that, okay. So I bring up, there's a couple of things that I'm interested in here. So, and this is just some examples here for you. So my support desk, let's just say, is Zendesk. Yeah. So I use Zendesk as my support desk, and I go, hey, Ollie, nice to meet, thanks for chatting, or thanks for using our chat, whatever it may be. What's your customer number so I can find your account and prepare to help you? You know what I mean? So now you're talking to a live agent, but there's some automation that's assisting the live agent, right? Versus, and I'm sure there's a bunch of AI stuff out there where you can talk to a bot and you can work through a bunch of flows with a bot, I'm sure. But this is interesting because if you're calling for support, you want to talk to somebody, you want to engage with someone, I can deliver that to my agent. And maybe they're just not an agent. Maybe they're just a normal person, right? Just somebody that's in sales, right? So there's sales, and maybe they've got a customer, an existing customer that has a question. Their account comes up. They do see that it's a customer or a prospect, and you can quickly address any historical information or like that stuff. Again, native in Teams, not in a separate app. That's the big deal here that I get excited about. This is native in my Teams environment, in my experience, not not in Nimbus just yet, right? So that's pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, exactly. And we can still use our contact center apps to assist that person. But I think the key thing is here, as you just said, Rick, you don't have to be in the contact center to receive this. So we've got our Nimbus Assistant here, which is our, as the name suggests, our assistant for the contact center agents, right? So in this information tab here, we can embed parameters, right? So if there was a CRM link to Zendesk, we can embed that there. We can see here who Bob's preferred agent is. So that could be their account manager, for example. So we can bring that intelligence in via the Nimbus Assistant, but it's not dominating that user experience. If we want to use reporting codes like we do in phone calls, disposition codes, we can add them there. So we can say they're a first-time person and they open a new request. So we can do that. And the dashboards that we've built out in Nimbus, so if I come into Nimbus here and we go into some of our live dashboards that we've got available, these are straight out of the box. We can now see, okay, there's one connected task. That connected task is connected to Oliver Lively. We can see all the KPIs. We can see all the historical sessions connected to the chat. So everything that we've built from a voice perspective, we now have with a chat perspective. So this is the one that I did a test of just before we got on, just to make sure that this would work. And that was the test chat I put in. We can see it was connected to this user. It was accepted, connected for 20 seconds there. So all of the KPIs, all the reporting that we have for voice will now just come across in these other modalities.
Yeah, and then I assume,
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate there, Ollie, on this, because I know customers and partners are going to be curious. Just like a phone call, they're going to want that log data, that chat data. They're going to want it fed off to maybe compliance or CRM for tracking. Maybe a ticket just to show that, hey, in case the session's gone, here's your ticket number. I assume all of that can be done just like we were talking about earlier, as far as that integration to, triggers around name or account number or whatever. That can all be done on the back end to wrap it into the business requirements, whereas the agent doesn't necessarily need to know all about all that because they can live and consume it out of Teams.
Yeah, just like a phone call, we can log those activities in a CRM. We can then run flows off the back of that. If that person in the automated part of the chat requested like a callback, for example, we could enter that into the chat flow. So you could say, okay, why are you chatting to us today? Take the reason. We could also check the availability of agents is a really nice one. So let's say, for example, that you've got no agents available and in any of your queues, we can check that in the workflow. And then maybe at that point we say, okay, sorry, we can't answer your chat. Would you like a callback at a time that we're more available? So yeah, it's bringing that chat in, checking the other Nimbus or the other contact center parameters, and then making routing decisions just like you would in a call flow.
Yeah, I guess the definition of omni-channel, right? It's just another modality of communication that's open to that customer to reach, the company they're trying to communicate with.
Yeah. I mean, those workflows. So this is where we build a voice workflow, but now we can build a chat workflow. So if I just run a quick test here, so fire one of these up. So on the left-hand side here, we've got our routing activities. Some of these will be familiar from voice routing, but let's say at the top, I want to route by opening hours. So when we're closed, we just play a message saying we're closed. We're not open at the moment. When we're open, let's actually collect that information that we spoke about earlier. Let's collect an account number. So we say, hi, we can take a system parameter. So we can take the name. So if we just search for name here, we can take the caller name, customer first name. So we can say, hi, customer first name, please enter your account number. Okay. And then that would take the first name out of the name that they gave us. And then we can take their account number. And when we save it to a parameter, that's where we can use Power Automate to go off and find that parameter in the CRM. Once we've got that parameter, we can check it against something, or we can play another message to say, okay, thanks for providing your account number. Now we use a custom parameter to say, okay, we found the information you're looking for. This is the custom parameter. Okay, your parcel delivery is the custom parameter that we're putting from the CRM. Your parcel delivery date is X. Okay, so that's how we can build these flows.
Super simple. I mean, I say simple from a, like it's just a logic flow builder, right? Drag and drop and build out that logic for every, the specific flow that you need.
I do love the similarities in a call flow, right? The before and after hours, right? That's one of the things that you see often in the chat space is, either A, you see people are offline and there's no chat available, or B, someone goes in and says something and there's no response, and then the response is, I'm sorry, we can't help you right now, right? So you get those sort of kind of delayed responses that start to deteriorate your customer experience. Right. So being able to out of the box decide, hey, it's during hours and it's, off hours, and here's how I'm going to handle, a response or a chat or, right. And build that flow right through here. This is to me, this is just kind of a smart way to build this. I mean, again, you can inject some AI and you can do all sorts of crazy cool stuff, but this to me is super functional. It's out of the box. You get the widget. You can build your flow. You can create excellent sort of, just excellent workflows from a chat perspective to go address a significant amount of queries, right? Whether they're sales or support. I look at this and go, yeah, I need to launch this for my support desk as an example, right? It's like, let's put this in our support desk. Let's walk through the information. Someone, instead of calling us, can sit there and type in their account number, and I've got all their information ready to support them in a more functional, or I guess in a more efficient way. So it creates a better experience for them. Right.
So Ollie, I have this is more of a just industry, maybe Luware specific question on, you had that sample chat page that had the chat, widget and everything. I assume at least at Luware, there's a lot of internal chatter going on, with this concept of ACS and the kind of that power model where you're developing against ACS. I imagine that there's coming a day that Luware would address the idea of, hey, it's a web-based channel that you're connected to between, I'm the user sitting at the web browser, maybe it's on my phone, maybe it's on my computer. But I imagine the world of possibility that I start as a chat and now I can take that same widget and escalate it to a WebRTC based connection for a native Teams call right from browser to Teams client for that agent, or video even. I imagine that day's coming probably quicker than we're socializing it.
Ollie's like, please hold the line for a moment.
Yeah, I've got this. Watch this. Hold my water. And
you saw me starting to move stuff around.
Yeah.
No, I think video has kind of been forgotten a little bit, which I think is a bit of a shame. Because video now we've got all the technology to handle video, right? Teams is obviously a video platform fundamentally. We've also got everybody at home now uses video on their PC a lot, even just like normal consumers. So I think video's there and ready. So let's try and show that quickly then. So yeah, you're totally right. We can use that widget that I showed you for video calling. So I'm just gonna load this up, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a million use cases that I'm already thinking of in my mind. Not that we need to hash them out, but it's, I think there's coming a day when that experience is going to become rather ubiquitous to the user, right? I'm not really a fan of making phone calls either. Rick knows this. He has to call me if he wants to talk to me.
I call him all the time.
But I would rather have convenience at my fingertips. So I'm sitting on this example, customer website here, and I would love the option to start as a chat and escalate on. Like, as an example, let's say I get sick and I got these symptoms, and I go on and I click to chat to get an appointment going with a doctor, and they're like, well, hey, would you like to just be added to a video consult call where maybe we can prescribe you medication right off the...
That's right just a ridiculous scenario, Brandon. I'm just going to call.
That's not
I'm going to call it ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You'll never get a doctor. And if there's a doctor listening, you see how customer service would change the world for you.
you say it's ridiculous, but it's, I mean, they already offer it, right? You can make an appointment to get on a web chat or web call with a doctor. I'm just saying there may be a day coming where they go, hey, like an urgent care might be like, hey, we'll queue you up just like you walked in, and you
All
know, it
right.
might be a 10-minute wait or something, but I'm just saying that
Yeah,
use
no, I
case
think
is
that
real.
no, absolutely. I think that's great. I think that what are you doing here, Ollie? This is I see the video camera. What's happening here?
He's getting
Yeah,
my
so
doctor.
yeah, we're
Your
about to
doctor's
call
not available.
Dr. Brandon to get to prescribe some medication.
My
So
my
we're
crazy dad.
using this same widget here, but here we just this is a different service now. So this one's set up for video, and yeah, instead of starting a chat, we can start a video call. So what I'll do is I'll start a video call. We'll choose my device settings and hope I don't get any horrible feedback. So I'm going to start that video call. So now that's going to queue that video call up. Okay, so that would essentially queue now ready to speak to an agent. We'll be able to see this video call in the queue. So if I go to my dashboard here, we'll be able to see that waiting. But as soon as there's an agent ready, just like a Teams call or inviting a Teams meeting, the available agent is going to be able to take that video. Just like on a Teams call, I can accept define it. I can device settings from the agent side. And then on the right hand side of the screen, I'm the customer. And on the left hand side of the screen, I'm the agent. So I can look at my horrible illness there. Or if this was trying to fill in a form, we could share back and forward. So either the agent could share or the customer could share. So the customer doesn't know that they're using Teams right now, but for the agent, they don't have to leave Teams. All of their presence is going to be consistent. They're not going to get any more contact center calls, any more chats. If we look at the dashboard, we can now see that this person is in a video call. So it's a seamless experience for the consumer, right? They're just using the website to chat and share. And if I want to use chat in here, I absolutely can do. So I can send links back and forward. So I can still use the chat. And then for the agent, all they're doing is using a Teams meeting. So they the client that they're familiar with.
That is awesome. That's a great demo right there, Ollie. That's this is it's interesting. I'm trying to think in my head. I asked the crowd, do you think that we're going to see video? Like chat is so simple and efficient and quick. You know, it's just chat is just so it's so ubiquitous right now, right? Oh, look at that. That's awesome. You're sharing your screen. You're going through, and yeah, that's amazing. I love it. So chat is pretty quick, but do you think there's going to be a time when we see video? I'm already in my head. I can tell you, I have heard of organizations that are in let's say the beauty field, right? Like that are Botox places, right? Meta spa type places. You look at that and you go, video may be actually really important for them, right? Because you can actually take a call, work with a prospect, and do some sort of a inspection, or not inspection, that's more technical than do some sort of an intake with somebody, right? By going, yes, you could use this, yes, you could use that. So I see this as a massive sales tool for organizations that where visually looking at somebody or something is important. And more so than massive sort of video communications when everybody wants a video chat. I think chat is becoming the ubiquitous platform that voice once was, and I think video is going to be that tag along. That's second or third to a voice call. Any opinions there, Brandon, Ollie? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a million use cases for it. But I think the important thing in my mind is that it's not necessarily forced, right? And I can kind of see in Ollie's demo that there's still some option of decision on, hey, I as a customer service person or the agent side, I might be putting my video out there, but the customer still has that right to maybe choose whether they want to have their camera on or not. Um, so again, I think very awesome potential with something like this. Again, whether it's initial contact, scheduled contact, follow-up contact, I think lots of opportunity.
I'm ready to stick my video on the sales queue and put a video thing out there on the Momentum website, and it's going to say, if you want to talk about some big teams opportunities, talk to Rick. And then there's my pop up my face. Hey, how's it going? Let's have a chat right now. I mean, it's what we do all day long anyway, right? You have meetings all day long, right? And they're video meetings all day long. And this is exactly what you do. You talk to you see people in person on video all day long. So a phone call, just because I don't know who you are that's calling and I'm not prepared for your call, that's okay. It's like, let's just take that call. Ollie, this is one of my favorites. Let's talk about this. What are you showing us?
So what I would be showing you, this is one of our German banking customers. They've embedded this into their website. Unfortunately, the experts are not available at this time, but essentially you can embed and you can choose this to set this up as a customer service group, like you would a call group. So it's going to distribute around to different users, the video call, or you can actually set this up to have individuals there. So if somebody did want to go on G12's website and see that Rick was available and call him directly in Teams, that through the website, we absolutely can. Or as I've shown you, the example I showed you was more, okay, you have a customer service line or a sales line, and then lots of agents are in that, and then you distribute it to a group. So yeah, if you want to send individually, you can, or to a group.
And then I see.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just see on this, just to kind of bring it back to the whole appointment aspect. I see like this particular company has a make appointment option, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be this. The video option, the chat option doesn't necessarily have to be this real-time experience, right? It could be that I'm going to make the appointment and then the experience follows.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. What, Ollie, give us one more, so that you've been showing us and focusing on the omni-channel. We've done chat, we've done video. I love the omni-channel stuff. This is fantastic. What's the last, one more thing that we could take a look at for about 5 minutes here?
Okay. Okay. If you're asking me to choose one, we'll go with transcription. Okay. Because this is something that I think it's tying it back to voice a little bit, but it's that there's a lot of possibilities here. So I'm just going to go into Salesforce here, and I'm going to go to one of our favorite contact pages here. So this is my pseudonym, Bob Bloggs. So whenever I make a call in, I'm always Bob, right? So this is connected to my mobile number. And we spoke a little bit earlier about being able to log activities in CRMs. Okay, so that's one of the fundamental integration pieces with a contact center, right? When a caller comes in and we recognize that caller, we want to create a log of that. So for a long time now, we've been showing, okay, we can create a call log here. So we can say, okay, that call came in at that time. We can take it a step further. We can say, okay, if they've called in and then abandoned their call, maybe they're a VIP caller who spends millions of dollars a year. We want to create a notification and then get the account manager to call that person straight back. Or maybe they've requested the call back. So we can create different call logs based on the outcome. Okay. But what we've also done recently is we've added transcription into Nimbus. So we can now embellish and enhance this call log with a full transcription of that call. So here we've got the full transcription. So here we just had an example where I was trying to call up and cancel my contract. And Dave here, he did a great job of signing me into a new deal in the end. So we've got the full transcript here. But as you can see, right, a transcript is going to be quite long. It's useful to have the transcripts if you need to check the detail. But in our Power Automate connector, we can use Azure AI services to actually create a summary here. So we can create a summary of that conversation in a couple of lines. We can see exactly what happened. he tried to call in because and cancel because it was too high a cost. He gave his account number. He offered a cheaper option on a 12-month, and then they agreed on that and said goodbye. So that's the summary. We've even got the sentiment in there, which we're still kind of playing around with. We got a sentiment as mixed. We're working on a couple of ways to make that a bit more useful, but you can see the use cases here, right? Having the transcription is one thing, but then putting the transcription somewhere useful for the whole organization, it comes back a bit, Brandon, to what you said earlier is, okay, how do you embed this into your business processes? The CRM for most organizations or the ERP system is the central point of truth. So having that in the CRM where everybody can see it, they don't have to be a contact center agent or a contact center supervisor to see what happened there. This is now embedded as a summary into the CRM.
That's awesome. That's a great one to show, Ollie. I think that's a really cool feature. And I'm super pumped. I don't even know what else to say about that. That's the chat, the video, and now in the transcription. The summary is the big piece there, though, right? Because transcription is all over the place, but having the summary ready to to show the rest of the organization in a spot that's functional for this in the CRM or ERP. That's pretty cool. Well, we got about 10 minutes and we've got a big announcement. So if you're listening and if you're with Momentum, you should probably listen and stay here because there's some announcement that we're about to make. We've got a special guest with us coming as well. So Ollie, you may know Adam Ball. Adam Ball with Cloud Revolution is joining us. He was the 10th caller. So he won the prize and he's like, oh, I wanted to be on when Ollie was on. I got to jump on so I can talk to Luar directly. This is amazing. So so he was caller 10, Ollie, and you get to record his voicemail for him.
You definitely don't want that, Adam. I can tell you that.
No, I mean I haven't called and listened to my own in so long. I don't know what it sounds like anyways. It's probably from I probably sound like a 12-year-old.
Adam, how's it going
just
today?
last year, right?
No, my wife might tell you that, but no, life is good. How are you?
Doing well. There's
this was
there's a lot going on in the space. Yeah.
Seriously, I got to watch Ollie do a bunch of the demo here, and before I was able to get into the backstage here, I was watching on LinkedIn, so that was fantastic.
It's great stuff. It's nice to see the like omni-channel built into Teams, right? This is and for those of you that are in the contact center space or have a contact center, you go kind of omni-channel is like it's been around a bit, right? You've got the big, heavy sort of contact center applications that have done omni-channel a few years back, but it's not native in Teams. It doesn't look like a Teams chat. It doesn't work like a Teams chat. I want to live in one application. I want to live in a single system. And so bringing in web chat and having some intelligence around that chat that follows my normal call flow sort of intelligence or my normal business process intelligence is pretty dang exciting. And then the extensibility that you have with it, where like the bank was able to do some creative sort of imagery with it. I can imagine a day where I want to go visit it, and it's maybe not the metaverse that Zuck was thinking about, but I can imagine a day where I've got, if I want to visit my local branch, my local, let's say Wells Fargo as an example, just because he pulled up a bank, and I can hop into the Wells Fargo that's here in, let's say, Scottsdale, Arizona, and I can talk to Bob Blogs, who's at the branch, and I normally see Bob Blogs when I take my deposits in, and I can start chatting with Bob Blogs. I think that's pretty cool.
That's mesh, right? You gotta go get your mesh connectivity in Microsoft and set up your environment.
Something like that, but this is actually real life. So it's pretty awesome. So Adam, thanks for hopping on and joining us. You have a reason that you're on this call today. There's something that you want to talk about and share, and it's kind of a mutual thing, but I'd love for you to take center stage. And why don't you tell us about what's the purpose here, Adam? What are we doing today?
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to take the day job hat off here for just a quick moment and put on the community hat. And Rick, as you mentioned, this is actually really neat. I actually have a surprise for you as well. So I've always told everybody I work with, there's no good things as surprises in business, but this one's awesome, and I'm super excited about both of these announcements. But first off, we really want to just say, as as the president of CommsV Next, and want to just say welcome to Momentum as one of our platinum sponsors here. Rick and Brandon and the whole team, we're happy to have you here, and it's going to be super exciting. I'm super pumped. Ali, I know Luware has been a sponsor in the past, and so really just appreciative of the support that we get to bring a community event. It's a 2-day event for those who may be listening and not know what it is. We have a 2-day event happening. It's April 23rd and 24th, happening in Denver, Colorado. You can check it out, commsvnext.com, and it's going to be fabulous. We've got people from all around the world. We've got friends from the UK and Europe and all over. I think the furthest we've ever had somebody travel is from Australia. So shout out to Craig who joined us all the way from down under with that. But we're super excited about that. And Rick, just to kind of tail off of this really quickly, because it ties directly into CommsV Next. We know that we have seen over the past year or so, lots of people impacted by tech layoffs. And I'm super excited about this. We had an anonymous donor come to us and put up some money to help somebody show up to the event that wouldn't have been able to make it. And so with that, we actually have a scholarship fund this year, and I'm super excited about it. It's the cool part about CommsV Next. We are a 501c3 nonprofit here in the US. And so we're able to take in those donations like that. And in this case, we're going to be able to help somebody show up that wouldn't have been able to because of maybe job loss.
Man, that's awesome. Exciting. That's really awesome. And let me say something really quickly about CommsV Next, Adam. And this is Brandon. He can chime in with his opinion. But my first experience at CommsV Next was last year, and we did this MVP celebrity dinner last year, and it was really, really fun. We had a great time. We're going to do it again this year. So the second annual, MVP celebrity dinner. But what really sort of left an impact on me about CommsV Next was that the community was so inviting and so supportive and so just like helpful, just massively helpful. And this was probably the first big Microsoft show that Brandon and I did after we were in Operator Connect, and really I considered that sort of the beginning of our exposure as G12 Communications, now Momentum, right? As a carrier in the space, and really where we struck up some business relationships, we struck up some personal relationships. It was a place where you really found people that you just enjoyed being around and you could learn from. It wasn't that salesy environment, you know what I mean, where you kind of go to a trade show and it's just like, it's all like, speed dating and stuff like that. This wasn't that. This was a real learning experience on what a show that has a lot of value means to a person and a community. And so I'm super excited to get back there, super excited to sponsor it, to do our MVP celebrity dinner again. And really to hear about the scholarship. That's pretty amazing. Brandon, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up really well. It's, what I would say is, I've been to, over the years of my careers, I've been to all of the big trade shows all over the world, right? And one of the things that struck me was everything you said, Rick, about the welcoming, the community vibe. And I guess I'll take it a little step further than that and say, a lot of times when you walk into these big conventions, what you're calling the speed dating, you can almost feel a little bit of tension because it's almost this like who's who game. And whereas CommsV Next, it really felt like Adam, I met you, and this is true of everyone I met there, but it was like this, you inviting me into your home almost sensation. Like there was none of this like standoffishness or this, I got to prove who I am, or you've got to prove to me who you are. It was more of a just, hey, let's break bread together and let's help each other.
Exactly the game.
However we can.
Cool. Yeah, that's absolutely the goal. Some of the best conversations I've had have happened just pulling up a table or a chair or something like that, hanging out just in the exhibit hall. Just so many good conversations that have just organically happened, and that's exactly it. We want anybody who, I get asked this all the time, so just in case there are other companies out there that are listening and are like, well, we're not sponsoring, can we come? Yes, everybody's welcome. Just bottom line, we want you there. If you're a part of this, of what we're doing in the unified communication space, everybody is welcome. Just full stop. There's nothing beyond that. So, and like I said, we're super excited, Rick, for you guys to be back and to be one of the top sponsors here, and to especially to bring back that MVP dinner. That was fantastic. That was a lot of fun, and just I love the energy your team brings, and so super pumped about that.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, if you're listening, is CommsV Next. Adam, the dates one more time.
April 23rd and 24th here in Denver. Like I said, you can check it out, commsvnext.com. Very straightforward. And then we will have news out on the website here about how people can apply for the scholarship fund. We don't have a ton of money on that, but even if we can get one person who wouldn't have been able to come, it's just fantastic that somebody had a heart like this. This just speaks to the community that we're a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. One short story about the community, unifiedcommunications.com. I'll throw those guys out there because I met them there at the show. I was in Houston doing our live podcast, and they said, "Why don't you just come to our office and do your show in our office?" And the president there basically cleared his desk. And he had 4 video cameras, and obviously they sell a bunch of gear, right? So cameras and audio. He's like, plug this in. Here you go. Now you're all set. You do your show. And he left. He's like, and he went to like the cafeteria of the office, and I did the show at his desk, with Unified Communications behind me. And I'm just like, that's the spirit of the community right there. And that was amazing to do that in Houston, Texas, traveling on the road. You're like, where am I going to do this from? I don't want to do it from a Starbucks or something like that. And it was, they invited me into their home to break bread, but it was their desk to work out. So it was pretty awesome.
They're good.
Getting some serious FOMO now, I think.
Yeah.
I got a shirt for you, Ollie.
I might want to ask my boss if I can buy a plane ticket out to Colorado.
Come on over.
Ask Tom if you can stow away with him. So I know quite a few folks from the UK are coming over.
Very good. Well, hey, that's our show for today. I want to say a special thank you to Ollie with Lively from Luware joining us late, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the UK and from London. So Ollie, thank you very much for spending time with us and showing us the web chat, the video, the things that you showed today, the summarization of the transcription. Those were some amazing features to go through and show what the possibilities could look like in the contact center in Teams, a contact center solution in Teams. So that's pretty exciting. And then Adam, thanks for hopping on. We look forward to sponsoring CommsV Next. We look forward to getting to Denver and just absorbing the community and everything that there is to learn. We sit here and do a show every Friday, but boy, the real experts are the people that get to that show and help the community out. There's so many smart people in this community, and it's really fun to now be sort of sponsoring and obviously doing our MVP dinner the night of there. So that's pretty darn exciting. So thank you both for your time. Thanks for coming on. We certainly appreciate it. Brandon, any last words?
No, I was just going to echo Ollie. We appreciate your partnership. Adam, looking forward to this new venture with Momentum and CommsV Next. And if you can believe it, next Friday is February already. So I guess we'll kick off February with our next show.
That's right. Episode 50 coming at you. Episode 50 is the one coming at you. It's pretty exciting. And we'll see everyone next time. Thanks for joining episode 49. We'll see you again next Friday. Everything Teams Phone Live. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.